so you can make your way to the side. Let us mic it up.
Or you can give the question.
Yeah, just so he can familiarize and Okay, let's see where we can place the mic. Yes, like that. Okay. Alrighty.
Okay.
The questions after.
Okay. Yeah, hi, my name is Johnathan Kettledas, the owner and founder of Nanotech, previously Nano Data Technologies, but shortened version Nanotech. Started Nanotech in July 2015. So I am a software developer by nature. So I studied software, studied coding. I majored in information systems and software development. While I was studying, I was asked to do some work for what is known as your Section 21 schools, or your government-based schools, your public schools. So I aided with there's a system that they run, South African Schooling Administration System, just help them out with their systems, with their networks. And during that I felt like, wait, there's a need for some tech in the township especially. And then I started running the SSM system, started with building their networks, aided with their computers while I was studying. And then immediately after studying, I decided, I think it's time to venture into business. So essentially, I have not worked for a boss yet. So straight out of studies, straight into business. Yeah. So in a nutshell, I think that's my story as to how I started Nanotech.
So what difference do you think then your product or service is making in society?
The difference that it will be making is the access to market. I think our solution, or Clicko, does is gives you that access to market, gives you access to buyers, bridges the gap between large corporates, whether it be mainstream industry, as well as your township industry, or all markets, whether it be formal, informal markets, gives you access to market. Also keeps the accountability as to when you're in business. So those are the important factors that our system. Also speed to market, that's the other one, the speed that you get to market. Sometimes it takes companies years to start generating cash. The quicker you can get to market, the quicker you can start making money. That's a good thing, I think.
In all of this, what made you turn to Propeller?
They were always, I saw them at the Oakley, previously the Oakley Center, or there where Oakley was. So I always drove past it, always saw future makers. That's just, I always saw it, but I was never I wasn't willing to go there. Up until, then one day, I actually applied once, never really got to the bootcamp, never went to the bootcamp. Then somebody actually called me once, a lady called Angela, she called me and said, you have to come with me. And then I went with her. And that was it.
Okay, so then I think to kind of add on to what you're saying, what do you think your aha moment has been like at Propeller so far, or through your journey at Propeller?
My aha moment. Okay, one of the things actually happened 2 weeks ago, where I used to be a volunteer at the YMCA, and that was when I was quite young, and I was volunteering, doing free work with these kids. I eventually stopped going to the YMCA, stopped volunteering, and then I started, obviously, a long way along the way, started my business, as well as then servicing Propeller, or Propeller Township. And then my mind was always, okay, I want to go back and aid Propeller and help out in the communities. Then one day, the network within Propeller, the YMCA, walks through the doors. And now, I'm back there again. Now I'm servicing again. Now I'm delivering the reason why I also withdrew back then from YMCA was to really fulfill my business and really get to know my business and work in my business. And I always wanted to have this where my passion as well as my socio-economic duty that I feel was needed to be done. But I first needed to look after my daily job and myself. And then now today I'm doing both. I'm doing my socio-economic as well as my business together. So that was one of those things where the network really helped. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So as an alumni, so obviously now you know what you do outside.
Yeah.
You graduated too. How do you think like this particular phase in your life has impacted your journey as an entrepreneur?
Massively. Look, I think as an entrepreneur, being on the Propeller program, being part of such a, and like the Propeller slogan says, future thinking today. So it's all about thinking for the future today. It's all in the slogan again. So it really aided me in thinking of the next. I've always been, I would say, a futuristic thinker into the future, but there needs to be a fine balance between future thinking and implementation now. So today, matching today with the future, those are the things that I will really carry on doing and taking it with me into the future, because I mean, that's the only way you can grow your business. You have to think ahead, but you have to do the things that need to be done daily to get ahead. Now, many times, in many cases, what you learn with entrepreneurs, they so focus on the future, either too focused on the future that they don't live in today, or they so focus on living today and making today's finance that they're not living into the future. So finding the fine balance between thinking in the future but also implementing today, that's a good balance that I found within my business, that I would really, any single thing that I touch, that's the style that I work about it. Yeah.
So now you're like an alumni,
Yeah.
So now you're also involved in teaching and workshops,
Yeah.
and you get to kind of sit in on people presenting and wanting to be part of the program.
Yeah.
What skill do you think you've learned from being the teacher now as opposed to being like the one who's being mentored?
Emotional intelligence, without a doubt. That's the first thing, is that in many cases we are training, and sometimes we thought that why are people not taking some of the knowledge when it's almost basic knowledge. Now, especially in the Propeller Township example, one has to look at all the things that go behind the scenes. That person sometimes sitting in our class, they're not concentrating. Then you need to ask yourself, like, for that person to even get here, there are so many domestic things that could have taken place for that person to have gotten to our program. There could have been, as I said, domestic, there's nutrition, there's the ability to eat, there's the focus, there's what happened if there was a rainy day outside that could have rained into that person's house. You see, all those issues that really, when we started working with these kids and with these adults, to emotional intelligence, being connected with them always, no matter what. I always said, whether there was many cases where we do assessments and people are getting 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30, I always understood that I love the person that gets 1 out of 30, because if I can get that person to 20, to 25, then I know I can do that exact same thing with someone else. So that's that emotional connection and that emotional intelligence to be able to pick up some people's emotions and how they perceive life. I think that's one of the things that really stand out to me when it comes to training and being an alumni.
Oh, that's a lovely.
Yeah, so one of the things definitely is that most things happen for a reason. All things happen for a reason. There's a reason behind many things happening in our lives, firstly. So there are many times where I get across situations where there's obviously confusion. Most of the time when you wake up every day, there's some type of battle, whether it be a battle of what am I going to wear, or whether it be a battle of what am I going to eat. But some people's battles are more difficult or more challenging, one could say, than others. But there's always an end behind the more difficult battles, or the more challenging battles for people. I would say, especially the internal ones. So most of the times when I'm running, or my mind's running through those challenges, then I would just tell myself that, okay, there's a reason behind this. There's the reason will be explained some other way. We don't know, many cases we don't know. But at some other time you will understand. Sometime you'll understand why what happened. But there will always be another thing. If you link that, you could link it to there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always, I always tell people, no matter what the whirlwind you go through, at the end of the tunnel there'll be a light. Yeah. So those are the things that I've learned. Not saying it diminishes the frustration. Frustration carries on, but you go through the frustration, at the end you'll see that there's some type of light. Yeah.
Oh, that was lovely.
Oh.
Thank you, Johnathan.
Did I?
Yeah. Me.
That's about it.
So I think that's a rare pull.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to hold on?
What am I gonna do?